us and the collaboration that we're going to have going forward.
No better way to communicate to your audience.
How do we grow strategically now that we've gotten the right path forward? Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy end of the week and happy show 5 of Agents Who Win with Thommy Sandvick. Talk daily prospecting to daily referrals. I'm Todd Schroth, your fancy host with the follow-up boss cap on today. Swag, so they sent me one. Thommy, thank you for being here. Day 5, all about referrals and how to win business with people who know, like, and trust you. Let's dive into the final countdown of what we need to do to earn the business.
Yeah, awesome. So I actually want to start out with one. So let's recap, right? So Monday was all about sending handwritten notes with a PS. Next, we're going to get this. Tuesday was all about phone calls where you're calling to help and set yourself up as a professional resource for people. Then we did one-to-one meetings and how to do effective one-to-ones, which we demoed, so y'all should check that out. And it was totally organic, like real too. That was not planned. So
as I'm sitting in overwhelm, what can I do?
Yeah, exactly. And then yesterday was all about the metrics: referrals given and referrals received. Right. So the core are those 4 things. So then we go, okay, how do we actually implement? Because there's a lot of different, it's like, okay, it's one more strategy that one more different way to build a business. There's so many people giving so many different methods of building a business. And when you're a new agent or even an experienced agent who maybe hit a lid on the business and you don't know where to turn, it's kind of like, okay, where do I focus? And so I kind of want to go through some rituals that help to actually be able to execute, honestly, whether it's this methodology or any other methodology. These rituals are really important to keeping yourself on track and not getting off track when it comes to focus and moving things forward, whatever it is you have going on. Because on the one hand, you're like, got to generate the business, so you need to do income producing activity. By the same token, you need to learn. You have to develop skills. You have to understand how to actually be a good agent, right? You're learning from that perspective, and like, how the heck do we balance all of that and make sure that that we can achieve it all? So honestly, even if someone's deciding that they want to cold call every day, okay, fine. There are certain things you need to do to prepare for that, to be ready every day. So I kind of want to go through the rituals a little bit that help with implementation that we teach, that when they get put into place are super, super powerful at the end of the day.
Like the load of the mouthful entry, load of the mouthful recap.
Yes, exactly. I'm the high I, Todd over here is the D, and so Todd's like straight to the point. I'm like, okay, let's do the backstory and the history, right?
No, it's good because you need to recap, because we're trying to make this like the 5-day series of kind of what was going on day 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 of what Michael on his podcast right now is doing, the 10 referrals, top 10 referral sources. You don't know what it is until tomorrow's day 7, then Sunday's day 8.
Yeah, exactly. Like what strategies ultimately can generate. So I thought, okay, so at a high level, right, with the rituals, then we can go into strategies for sure.
Yeah.
So there's 4 main rituals. The first one is a lot of people know about the miracle morning and setting your morning up. But actually, what's even more important is the night before. It's the prep the night before to prep your morning so that when you get out of bed, it's easier to execute whatever that morning routine is. We have something called decision fatigue. And from the first decision we make in the day, we are chipping away at our ability to make decisions until eventually we're just like, I'm done making decisions today, and our brain shuts down. So if you have to be deciding who you're going to call, if you have to decide what you're going to wear, if you have to decide how much coffee to make, if you have to decide like all these different things, those are little micro decisions that are eating away at your ability to execute throughout the day. So the evening, which I'm not going to go over the whole acronym, we have an acronym, it's Sweet Dreams. And basically the core is set yourself up at night with the next, at least the next day. So one of the things a lot of times exercise, as an example, comes into play. Well, it can, if you want to exercise in the morning, it's very helpful to set out the clothes the night before, because like literally set the exercise clothes out and prep the coffee for the morning, right? So before I go to bed at night, I set the coffee on the timer and I get my workout clothes, and I put them in the bathroom, and I put my shoes there, and I put my wallet, everything is there. So I don't have to worry about it in the morning, which actually means I can sleep more because I don't have to spend.
Well, you're not like, I'm the same way, because if I start tripping over the dogs or not, she's sleeping for a little longer, because it's 5 a.m. when I'm getting up to go get ready, and it's dark, and I'm like, grab the wrong stuff. It creates a mess. And the days that I do have that stuff out, ironically, that morning flows that much better. So much better, right? And it's super interesting. It was when I finally flipped that switch that my morning workouts got consistent. That was the first thing that really made it possible for me to get up and go to CrossFit. At the time I was doing CrossFit, to get up and go to CrossFit early, and be there at 7 o'clock in the morning and get my butt kicked. That was a major turning point in the prep work, right? And the same thing if you have pre-workout stuff, anything like that, get it ready the night before. It only takes 10 minutes before you go to bed to just intentionally do these things that'll set you up for the next morning. Yeah. Along the way. Now, so that's a very condensed version of the evening routine. It's like, what are those core things? And as you go along, you start developing it, you figure out what works for you and what you really need. But the core idea is just have that time at night prepping for the next day. Then likewise to that, so then in the morning, SAVERS is an acronym. It's having silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, which is journaling. So again, without going super specific, but like the idea is in the morning, so necessary to start the day out positively. So as an example, turning on the news in the morning is a terrible idea. I know people think they need to know what's going on in the world. My question is, do you really need to know that badly? Not really. You don't need to know it. That's my personal belief. Stay off Facebook and stay off the news, and your morning will be exciting. At least in the morning, protect that headspace, because if you go into your day triggered over something that upset you on the news, and let's be honest, everything on the news is about fear, right? It's like 98% of what's on the news is negative, and there's 2% that's a positive feel-good story. That's how they keep you hooked. So you can't say it's all negative, right? So it's like, okay, you know what? Put boundaries around it and protect your mind in the morning. It's so important. So that's kind of, that was just the one thing, but it's like the point of the whole morning routine is setting your mindset up and staying clear on what you want to accomplish for the day, and just knowing in advance, prepping for that, right, by taking care of yourself. So you can read The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents, which authored as well. So there's more information on that. It actually continues the story from 7L, which is kind of cool. Perfect. I was going to ask about that too, how that book is tying into all that. Yeah. It's just Michael was partnered with Hal, and they said, well, we may as well continue the story of Rick and Michelle from 7L. So it's, so that's the morning routine, right? The next one is, I call it a startup routine. So it's basically, sitting down, and you can do this as part of your miracle morning, or you could do it when you get to the office. But it's sitting down and really being, okay, what am I, it's being intentional about what you want to accomplish for the day. So what are the, 3 priorities for today? What must get done? And setting that game plan. Now, ideally, you do that like a week in advance, but it's a muscle to build that, or it's a habit to build that. So creating that daily routine, so who are you going to call, or what your major activities are for the day, and getting those out of the way before everybody else's priorities takes over. Yeah. Well, it's like getting in early. You get that extra hour. You feel like you get more done in that hour, like 2 to 3 hours of the work, versus walking into the office right at 9 o'clock and you're like, now you're scrambling to get things done. Yeah, exactly. We had our first team huddle this morning, and it was like, oh, wait, all right, what are we, it's like just running right in the office at 8:59 and being able to jump on time. And obviously being the leader, I need to be there on time or be waiting 2 minutes early to chat with people who get on early. But it was successful. Everyone was on. I mean, it was like cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the core idea is like making sure in the beginning of the day, setting the priorities for the day, because that keeps the main thing, whatever that is. When you're getting started in real estate, it's important to have the income producing communication, right? So the metrics we've talked about, they should be tracking those metrics. How many of this am I doing each day? And then the last one is the go home ritual, which is the one that I most recently have implemented. It's been so powerful. And again, without going through the whole acronym, the core of it is identifying what you're doing the next day. So then by the time you get to the morning, it's a lot less complicated. But specifically, the go home ritual more specifically is about the M in go home stands for money. How am I going to make money tomorrow? And that's a super important mindset shift to go, who do I need to call? What's the activity that's going to generate income opportunities? And keeping that the focus is the main thing, because we have to drive the business forward ultimately. So having that prepped, sitting down at night and going, okay, I know I need to call this person tomorrow. Get their numbers out. Have it on a piece of paper or Excel, whatever you want to do, but you want to prep that information before the next day. Because if you rely on going into your CRM, I know personally, I can't stand going in my CRM. Even though it's organized and it's updated, I don't want to go in there. I want the information from it on a silver platter so I don't get drawn into any other distraction. These are the 10 people to call, period. And that's been a big, significant shift as well. So those are kind of the 4 rituals, right? Set up your night, do savers in the morning, do like a startup ritual and then a go home ritual. Those 4 rituals, no matter what you're executing, are the keys to staying productive ultimately and making sure you're moving forward.
Well, I like the especially leaving the office for the end of the day, you have your plan for the next day walking in, and even at night preparing. One of the big GE execs, and I cannot remember his name, in his book, he stated how every Sunday night he would have his plan for the week. Mm-hmm. And, that's that was a huge thing for me. Is like when I do that, when I do that, my week is so much better. And even meal prepping, and so that way I'm making my lunch in the morning. It's a lot faster.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just things are ready to get, to get you out of the door 15 to 20 minutes earlier, and you're ahead of the game. Yeah.
And it's so important because then you start to live in proactive.
Yeah.
And you also know how to say no to other things. If you have, this kind of goes into time blocking, but like if you've got X number of things throughout the week and you like you can literally see, I don't have a ton of available time. It's a lot easier when people ask something. Nope, I don't have time this week. I already know I don't have time this week. I don't even have to think about it because I know in advance what I have coming up. Now it's gotten like I'm 2 to 3 weeks out when it comes to meetings or speaking opportunities, anything like that. I'm on a 2+ week cycle at this point because I've learned that actually what happened because I wasn't paying attention. I was only looking a week in advance.
Right.
And all of a sudden what happened was all in 1 week, there was multiple things that had to be created and delivered. And I didn't see it coming. This happened like October of last year, almost a year ago. And so that's when that kind of major shift came, and it required looking further out. But when people are getting going, it's more about just figure out how to run your day, then own the week, and then you start to own the month, right? And then it progresses from there, ultimately. So
that's all great stuff.
Yeah, those are the core things. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. Surprisingly, he's not all that well known in the real estate space. It seems everyone knows Grant Cardone and Darren Hardy's been up a lot on my resource list lately. People mentioning him, but for building these habits, right, and building the rituals and building those different things, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard is excellent at helping develop these things that helps you become a high performer as a business person, because that personal growth is, absolutely required. Whether you're doing referrals, cold calling, door knocking, farming, at Facebook, social media, it doesn't matter. It all requires going to another level of performance. And so I definitely recommend people check out High Performance Habits as well as 7L, of course.
Yeah, I have the book at the house. I'm in the process of reading it right now, and it is very good. I've actually got it on Audible. Actually, reading through Audible.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Same here. I'm Drive Time University all the time.
Love it. Love it.
Standard mode. It's actually I only get books to read after I know I really, really like them, because then I can go according to chapter if I need to find particular stuff. But so I ended up getting High Performance Habits, a physical copy, which is really helpful when I need to just find something in particular than listening to it. But that's because I'm literally creating curriculum out of it, more or less. So along the way. So otherwise, I'll Drive Time. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Good.
Nice. So what is? Let's dive into now about like some referral opportunities for newer agents coming in.
Yeah.
That they don't have that database and or the past clients that they're going to go and refer from. What are some of let's call it the top five habits that we can throw out there?
That's a good question.
I know number one is the birthday call.
Yeah, the birthday call. The day before the birthday call is even better.
The day before the birthday call.
The day before the birthday call. Right? That's a simple one. It's a reason to call. Because what you're really talking about is I need a reason to call. And the reason to call can't be just I'm looking for a real estate transaction. It's got to be something else. So maybe we could go down that road. Like, give me like a hot sec. I need to turn the fan on. I'm dying.
Go for it.
Oh, 1 second. There you go. Okay. This darn gone weather. It's like some days the AC doesn't stop running, and then other days it's not as sunny, it doesn't run. So, okay. So, so there's the day before the birthday call, right? That's an easy one to call. There's anniversaries. That's easy ones to execute. Another reason to call. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe we should go down this road. It's like if you're just starting as an agent, the best thing you can do is host an event for your database. And we didn't really talk about that, but it is a core metric actually, is the event process. If people are like, I'm just getting started, the first thing is, okay, great. People locally, you need to run an event. And there's a couple reasons for that. The first part of it, and I'll get into specifics of events. The first part of it is you may have worn a different hat, right? And so maybe you were formerly a teacher or formerly an insurance agent or formerly a marketing exec. Whatever you were doing formerly, people know you in that light. And so you need a way to help them see you in the light of being a real estate agent. So that's one thing that's really important. And then the next thing, with running an event, you have a reason to contact every single person in your database.
Yeah.
And it's a give, right? You're inviting to an event, and in the course of that conversation, they may ask what's new or something like that. Maybe an opportunity comes up. That often can happen, actually, because you're leading with the invitation, but the conversation can evolve from there and create opportunities. A lot of people get opportunities from inviting to an event. So we teach to do an event where the magic behind the events that we teach is they are events meant to appreciate your network. So what we do is we say, okay, create a fun event that you would like to go to. First of all, it's gotta be fun for you, and then invite people to it. You partner with a charity, so there's a give back component to it.
Right.
You can get.
Do you go with the same charity every time, or do you choose a different charity each time? Because I know some people like to sponsor one thing, but it is good to give to more. Yeah,
I started with just one, and then I've been rotating now more as I find other opportunities. Because ideally, I want the charity to be partnered. More so than just I'm showing up and giving them a check. I'd rather, or donations, I'd rather find a charity I can give to that really wants to be actively involved in creating something bigger. But when you're getting started, you just find one that resonates with you. But then you could definitely, as you do more events, you can shift who you give to. And it's a big part as well when you, especially if you invite people and ask them to bring something for the charity, you're getting a commitment. Like now they're not just committed to come to your event, they're committed to bringing, non-perishable items or clothing or whatever,
right.
supplies. So you're getting buy-in to come.
Let's talk about some things people can do at the end of this year. Let's dive from the top 5 to let's talk about how making a successful event for your sphere as a new agent. Let's kind of pivot on this. Okay. Yeah. I've got some ideas I want to share on it. And we've got 3 months ahead of us before the end of the year as a new agent trying to figure some things out and going into events. Like I would host a past client event like a happy hour or a social or a fall festival or something like huge for 200-300 people. Well, I don't have 200 or 300 people as a past client. So what I'm going to do for October is, maybe do some like candy drop-offs to the kids or, costume contest on Facebook. Post your kid and win a prize, whatever. We'll donate back. We'll get you something there. Thanksgiving, your top 50 people do a pie drop off. Host a Christmas party or a holiday party at your house. They bring a gift, a $10 gift for 𝗥𝗲𝗆𝗆 106.7's and I can't remember what it's called, like the Christmas thing. Where they're taking the gifts.
Yes. Yeah.
So you host something like that, and it's personal. It's in your own home, or it's at a bar or something. Host a happy hour at a local bar. Hey, I've got 20 friends coming over. I need to host this. I want an open bar. Don't limit to 2 tickets because it kind of looks. I mean, in my opinion, it looks tacky. I might spend an extra $500 or $1,000 on a happy hour. At the end of the day, I'm not worried about 50 people wasting the bartender's time. Or here's your 2 tickets that you get to use. And ironically, you end up overspending when you use the tickets because you don't use all the tickets you received. And so you end up just handing them all out anyways. And then it's happened to us. Yeah. We try to hey, let's limit. So you find different things along that way to host an event and get people to give back to charity or something, or getting in front of people as well. Like you host a Christmas party at your house, you're going to get in front of all your people and give back to a charity. The event costs you nothing because it's at your home, minus some liquor and whatever. And most people come to your house, you're going to bring you a bottle of wine as a thank you. And then rolling into next year. I mean, you've got a ton of things that can happen. But that's going to start your referral sources going in. And and explain to them, guys, I'm hosting this. I want to get in front of you guys. I'm your agent. Let's talk more. Don't make it all business. They should never be all business, but it should be all conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I think as a new agent, people may go, well, I don't have a lot of money to invest in something. But the thing is, like, at some point, you're either buying leads or paying for some social media, or like the money's going out there somewhere. The whole concept is put that money into the people who are going to refer you, instead of giving more money to Zuckerberg or to Zillow that's trying to take your business anyway. Like, so it's like, why not put it into people? Because it doesn't matter what happens at a high level with the market. If you have people and you have relationships with them, it doesn't matter what happened. You get through the swings of the market. Yeah. And so that's the core concept behind it. And it can be, there's a lot. I mean, right now, there's a ton of venues that are really willing to bend on their requirements to host an event in their space. Yeah. It's been not difficult to find people willing to work with it. And, like you say, it doesn't even have to cost you anything. Depending on your network, you can get sponsors to put into the event. And then you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. I've paid very little of my own events that I've done. I've done multiple events because I was with sponsors. And here's the magic, right? So where the ROI comes is that you have sponsors provide a door prize. And then when people come to register, They fill out a form that's to enter for the door prize, but there's the opportunity on the form to give you a referral. And that's super, super powerful because that's a way to ask for a referral electronically, but not verbally. And like I say, as getting started, it really is the best process because you're contacting everybody in your database to invite them to the event. Then you get them all in the room. Well, they obviously already like, know, and trust you to some extent because they showed up. But the magic is now they're all talking to each other and they're going, well, how do you know Todd? How do you know Todd? How do you know Todd? And you just became the center of influence solely because all you did was invite people to an event. And that's really, really, really powerful as a strategy. So, I mean, I think that's the thing. And I think from an events perspective, like honestly, the easy one to start out with is happy hours, or my very first event was called I Love You a Latte. And I did it the week of Valentine's Day. So I have that and Nacho Average Happy Hour are the two kind of signature events I've had so far. Super, super simple to execute. It's, like you say, you kind of know what you're looking at from a drink perspective. But honestly, sometimes people will come and you don't even have to provide it. I mean, it's ideal to provide something, but if you can't, then you just bring them together and show appreciation in other ways. And but that's the magic behind the event system. We are doing a class. Event Masters will start October 18th. It's a 7-week class that teaches exactly how to host the first event, right? And once you've done one, then there's actually a 52-week plan for events that can be executed. So you always know every single week what you need to do to generate business, which is super powerful.
I like that because you have it's like, what do I want to shoot on video today? So how can I, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that really is the number way. I spent a lot of time on when I was with the healthcare brokerage, I put a lot of time into what does the startup process look like for a new agent. And without a doubt, I was like, okay, within your first 8 weeks, you're hosting an event. And that's going to kick off the business basically. And helping them go through that so that they're contacting people, talking to people, having conversations, and then host the event and then do the follow-up from there. And then that really gets people cooking and often it creates momentum, right, to go in the right direction.
So as a new agent walking in, hosting an event in 8 weeks, I don't have sponsors or people that I've given business to, like lenders and title and all these things. So how do I get those guys, in front of? How do I get them to want to pay for my event that I'm hosting, in the hopes of future business from me when I don't have any business?
Yeah. I think that it's kind of a double-edged sword. So honestly, my very first event, I funded it with it's kind of a long story, but I think your point is to answer the question, when you're starting out, the first thing is just look through your contacts. Who do you know who's in business, period? Especially if they're a little bit more advanced and it's likely they're going to have some kind of budget for event sponsorships, and it's just having the conversation to go, hey, I'm hosting this event. I'm expecting this many people. And here's the cool part. You're actually going to have the opportunity to generate referrals right on the spot at the event.
Yeah.
And that, anyone in business that you go to and say, hey, for $100 or $250, you have the opportunity to get direct sales opportunities from that. That's unlike any other event sponsorship that exists. If you think about, put the logo up on the screen or have a booth okay, fine. But that's still a lot to create the ROI. Our method is all about how to get the immediate ROI. So I think you just lead with what's in it for them, which is that opportunity for referrals, and just explaining that process. And people tend to, that's one thing is starting there, get a couple, whatever you can get, you just work with. And then being intentional about other people who you think could sponsor in the future, make sure those people are in the room.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, they can actually experience one of these events. And then the next event, it's easy. In fact, you may be surprised. They'll come to you and go, I want to sponsor your next event. And you're like, okay. So
Yeah,
it's
no.
a lot easier than you think. But when you're starting out, I think it's start with your existing database, who's in business, and then talk to team lead, broker, fellow agents. What contacts do they have that may be interested in sponsoring?
Yeah, because that's if you can start you start gathering your group and your army right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it exactly right. It's all about building the army of ambassadors. It's about building your community. So that's the way to kind of kick it off. You just start with that process.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I think we got a lot of recap here, a lot of stuff good. There's definitely we could be talking for hours on all of it as well, because it's just a lot of planning in the background and just the ideas that pop up and things that go from it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. I'd say if over the last 5 days, right, if you've heard something that is helpful to you, take a look at RMS. It's next week, Referral Mastery Summit. Way more info, people that have run events, people that have done the work are teaching, and it's going to be super powerful. So that's all I'll say about that. We'll post a link.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, post it in there, and then we can drop it in all of our channels too, all of our other sites as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gotcha. Cool.
Thommy, I appreciate it. It was good week here.
Fun. Yeah, you too.
Definitely. Thanks. All right, guys. Win the week, win the weekend. We have fun.
Rocking.